Here's J.D. Vance describing what happened in the White House that day with a little smirk on his face, laughing about it and giving his view on what actually took place.
The rails, of course, is when I asked, or you had a Polish journalist who asked a question, the president answered it, and then I answered it, and then something about my answer just really set Zelensky off. So then he came at me.
So you're blaming yourself.
then I went back at him, right. And what I tried to do originally was actually try to diffuse the situation a little bit, because I'm like, we're having this meeting. Obviously, there are 100 television cameras here. Let's try to have this conversation in private. And then the president, as we kept on going back and forth, I tried again to say, well, maybe we should have this conversation in private. And the president was like, nope, actually, I don't want to have it in private anymore. I want to have this actual conversation in public for the American people to see. And
I think he's just happy that he's getting some attention, because he's about as far back in the line right now as could possibly be. So he's going to take any attention he can get. But I don't know, Lana, I just, and these are the people who call themselves Christian and men of Jesus and God. I don't know how these people look at themselves in the mirror. I just don't. I don't get it.
Again, I remain speechless, because I don't get why people don't get why this is not okay. Was it 90% of the aid that goes to Ukraine actually stays here because we're making the weaponry here,
correct,
and ammunition? So it's like, how fucking stupid can we be? Like, that's why Nebraska's going bankrupt. Y'all
right?
Dummies. It's like fucking dummies. Just fucking dummies. Like, I can't even say it enough. It's just.
Do they even know it's happening to them? Do they know why it's happening to them? And that's what is the most frustrating thing out of all this. They were warned over and over and over again. I'm going to play something here a little bit later that's going to touch on that. So we'll get back to that part of it. But they asked Donald Trump and said, hey, man, it kind of looks like Russia's kind of happy because you're lining up with what they're, interested in. And this old, just moronic idiot, first of all, can never hear a question anymore. He always has to ask the reporter, like literally every time, what's that? I didn't hear you. Huh? But here's the reporter asking this stupid dipshit about what Russia thinks about this whole thing.
Russia is saying that your foreign policy is largely in line with their vision. Should that be concerning to Americans?
Said what?
Should that be concerning to Americans?
Read the statement.
That Russia says that your administration's foreign policy is, quote, largely in line with their vision.
Well, I'll tell you what, I think it takes two to tango, and you're going to have to make a deal with Russia, and you're going to have to make a deal with Ukraine. You're going to have the assent, and you're going to have the consent from the European nations, because I think that's important. And
look at the two boys next to him, just shaking their head. Yes, sir. Oh, my God. First of all, it's the most incoherent answer, but they're shaking their heads.
Yeah,
yes, sir.
He said Europe. They're like, shit, that's a word I understand. Yeah.
Yep, I get it. Oh, yes, sir. Everything you say is just perfect, sir.
From us, I think everybody has to get into a room, so to speak, and we have to make a deal. And the deal can be made very fast. It should not be that hard a deal to make. It could be made.
The guy on the left is acting a little bit better. The guy on the right, I think, absolutely is just 100% in. The guy on the left is kind of like, all right, I'm going to do my best here.
Very fast. Now, maybe somebody doesn't want to make a deal. And if somebody doesn't want to make a deal, I think that person won't be around very long. That person will not be listened to very long. Because I believe that Russia wants to make a deal. I believe certainly the people of Ukraine want to make a deal. They've suffered more than anybody else. We talk about suffering. They've suffered. But if you think about it, under President Bush, they got Georgia. Right? Russia got Georgia. Under President Obama, they got a nice big submarine base, a nice big chunk of land where they have their submarines. You know that, right?
We couldn't even remember Crimea.
Under President Trump, they got nothing. And under President Biden, they tried to get the whole thing. Tried to get the whole big,
again, this is the kind of nonsense. You can only listen to so much. There's more to that clip, but I can only listen to so much. And I can promise you, if you want to play the rest of the clip somewhere else and say you didn't let him finish, trust me, he didn't finish with anything coherent.
Dude, oh,
I know.
what is the deal? Like, what is the deal that he is making with Russia? Because so far, Russia hasn't had to do anything.
Nothing.
They've stopped like the cybersecurity, whatever the shit was going on, us watching their cybersecurity freaking intel. I don't know. Hexa said, we're not doing that anymore. We're taking sanctions off. Well, like what is the payment? What is Russia doing? We want Ukraine to do XYZ. Trump, what is Russia doing? Like what? Just sitting pretty and let you do their bidding? Like no one's asking that question. Like what is Russia bringing to the table? Fucking nothing.
There's one or two things that I can think of, Lana, and neither one of them are good. The first one is that for years now, we have been hearing that Vladimir Putin has something on Donald Trump. Does he? I don't know. I have no idea. But you have to, really consider that as a strong possibility. The other thing is Putin finding a way on the outside to make Donald Trump extremely rich in ways that we're not seeing. And other than that, I cannot possibly think of what it could be. Well, maybe there is a third one, is that we know as terrible and evil of a person Vladimir Putin is, we know he's 1,000 times smarter than Donald Trump.
Correct.
And he was in the KGB, for crying out loud. So to infiltrate this feeble man's brain, he may have done or said something that makes him feel like he needs to show fealty to him the same way his supporters show to Donald Trump.
Yeah.
It's got to be. There's nothing else, because I have never seen an American person outside of somebody like Michael Flynn, but before this Trump thing, never seen anybody show their loyalty to Russia or the Russian president. Never in my lifetime, ever.
Like this. Like it just willing to publicly profess his love to Putin. It's just like, what the fuck? Putin don't have to say shit. This dude is like, he's the one groveling on his knees to Putin and then comes back to us like, I'm the tough guy. It's like, but you're not. You're Putin's bitch. Like, yeah, you are.
Yeah. And unfortunately, we have too many people who don't see it that way. They're defending the line that they're being told that this is a good thing, that this is something that is better for us, and that Ukraine, now I've heard that Ukraine is corrupt and they're the ones who really need to. I've kind of used the analogy before. It's kind of a simple one, Lana. If I'm living at my house and people break into my house and say, I live here now, and I call the police, and the police in this particular instance supposed to be the United States, and the police come in and start yelling at me about me calling the police on them, is bizarre to me. It is just absolutely bizarre.
But it's so crazy because everyone and their mother on the right side has said Putin has signed peace agreements before and he breaks them, because the only thing that peace agreements do for Putin is give him a chance to re-up, regrow his army, strategize again, and come back stronger. Like he has done that over the years. Do we think that he's not going to finish and destroy Ukraine? He hates Zelensky. He wants Ukraine. And then he keeps going. Like, that's what people don't get. It's like Europe gets it that Zelensky and Ukrainians are literally fighting for Europe. He's holding the fort. They're at the fort saying, you can't get through to Poland. You have to get through us first. Like, he's been doing that. Like, why does America think? And Zelensky made that comment. Like, you're comfortable now because you have this beautiful ocean, right? Like the ocean between the wars, right? You have separation. Now, but it's going to hit you because it is. Because what we see and MAGA doesn't see, but what our enemies see is us being weakened. And we will, and I keep saying it's not because I want it to happen, but because I know it's going to happen. We are going to be attacked within these 4 years, whether it's a cyber attack or whether it's an attack. We are going, because we're ripe for the picking. Like our enemies would be fucking stupid if they did not attack us within these 4 years, right? Then what do? Call for Europe? We're gonna ask Canada to help us?
Yep.
Are we gonna ask France to help us? After we're like Canada, we're putting 12% tariffs or 25, whatever the fuck it was. We're gonna go to Putin? Because Putin's gonna look at us like, fight your own wars. Fight your own wars. That's what Putin's going to say, because he's not interested in that. He doesn't want to help America. He wants a Soviet Union. He doesn't give a fuck about America. Donald Trump is, a means to the end. How do you say that? Like, that's all we are to Putin.
I got more news for you, Lana. If we were attacked in this country, there's a possibility Putin might have something to do with it. What do you think of that?
Exactly that.
Because this is exactly what Putin wants. He's been thinking about this forever and ever and ever. They have already attacked our country. They attacked it in 2016 by basically stealing the election from Hillary Clinton. And yes, I use the word stolen. They absolutely did it, because without Facebook and without social media and all that bullshit that can spew all the disinformation that came from Russia, Hillary Clinton would have beat the shit out of Donald Trump. That's the only reason why she lost. And now you have him literally on the inside of our government, where not only are they defending him, but they are castrating out the guy who is being attacked by him. It is fucking sane. And how just anybody with a minimum 8th grade education does not see this is beyond my comprehension. I just can't understand it, Lana. Can't understand it.